Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. Okay guys, I've got another pick a card reading for you today, but before I begin I just want to say thank you for all these beautiful gifts. Now this one was definitely a gift from my Amazon wishlist, but unfortunately it didn't come with a note, so I have no idea who it was from. So if you bought this for me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I've wanted these for ages, and they're actually very cool. So the Kipper Tarot, so I'm just going to adjust my camera to make sure we've got everything shot. Really grateful for whoever sent me those. Thank you so much. And from Antoinette, I received the Elle Qui the Elle Qui Oracle. We're using both of these in today's reading. Thank you kindly. Now, the Embroidered Forest Tarot is actually a gift to myself. This is an independently produced deck. You can find a link to it in the video description box. I'm using this in pile 1 today. And the Modern Spellcasters Tarot, which was a gift from Julia, and we're using that in pile 3 today. So thank you so much, Julia. You guys are so adorable. I do love receiving tarot cards. It helps keep my readings fresh. If you would like to donate a deck, you can find a link to the Amazon wishlist in my description box below. It's literally my favourite thing about doing this work. It's like, oh, presents in the post. It's so nice. Thank you so much. Okay, I don't know why I'm moving that over there. I'm going to turn these around so you can see them. And you can choose, douse over them, look at the timestamps. I always pick from the timestamps. I like working with the numbers. But whatever works for you, you may be drawn to more than one pile. That's okay. There might be messages in more than one for you. Let me just check. You can see them. Perfect. So we have that's the Embroidered Tarot. This is the Modern Spellcasters Tarot with a piece of amethyst. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot with a piece of apatite. This is the Embroidered Forest Tarot with some twin quartz. And this is the Hyde Tarot by Dan Francis with some amazonite. So as usual, timestamps are in the comments. And if you want to know where you can buy the tarot decks or what tarot decks they are, I do list that in the description box below. So let's do this. We're getting channeled messages from your person today. I know you love these readings. They're very reassuring. It's just nice to know kind of what's going down. We did a thinking and feeling one over the weekend on Friday, I believe, which you can go and check out as well. But this is to kind of, what do they actually want to say to you? What aren't they saying? Okay, let's go. Pile 1. So this is a Modern Spellcasters Tarot. It's a beautiful deck. I've not used it for a professional reading yet, but I've had a good flip through it. So what does your person want to say to you? What aren't they saying? What do they want you to know? Now, when I do these kind of readings, obviously I'm looking at the cards, but tarot cards for me are like a headline. And the story is kind of channeled and filled in by my guides. I work with a guide called Arthur for tarot. So let's have a look-see. What does your person want to say to you, pile 1? Let me just check if I actually hit the bloody record button. I have. Oh my God, I do this every time. What is wrong with me? Do you know what? I think I probably just once where I recorded a whole video and didn't actually record it. And I was so frustrated with myself. And ever since, I've just been really panicked about missing it again. Okay. What does your person want to say? I'm going to use the gender pronouns he or she. However it comes out, just please adjust it as is right for you. Right, so we've got the 9 of Wands, the High Priestess, the 5 of Cups in reverse, and the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Clarifying, we've got the 7 of Pentacles, the Chariot in reverse, 4 of Cups in reverse, and the Empress in reverse. We're going to use some oracle cards as well. Just get these Kipper cards, Kipper fortune telling cards. These are actually very cool. We have pathway, journey, courthouse, and high honor. And from the Elle Qui Oracle, we have she who listens, she she who divines, and she who changes. And we are also going to use today the White Rose Divine Love Messages from White Rose Guidance. You can find a link to these in the description box below. And White Rose Guidance does have a channel on YouTube. She's also a tarot reader. She's fabulous, so do go and check her out. I can never say it, but I do love you. I constantly feel you running through my veins. I live for your smile and would die for your kiss. And I'm electrified by you. We may pull some more, but we're going to stop there for now. Okay, so what does this person want to say to you? I mean, the first thing that's coming through very, very strong is this person hasn't given up, and it does appear that way. But right now they guard up because they simply need some time, and they're asking for your patience. They're on a journey with this pathway card. This very much makes me feel of the Eight of Cups energy. You can see this pathway lit up by the light. It's there's all these butterflies here, and you know, they are on a journey of transformation right now. They're going through the mill, is what I'm hearing. So they don't want you to give up. They haven't given up. They're very loyal to you in their heart. And I'm hearing for some of you, you know, you're saying, well, you know, not, because there might be like a third party or karmic involved in your specific situation. But what I'm hearing is their heart is loyal to you. And I'm hearing they are powerless over that as well. It's just something they... You know, they may have fought it before, but it's so strong and overwhelming for them. They are very, very grateful for your compassion. You've been so understanding. We've got this She Who Listens card. It's called Hannah. And I don't know if, I don't normally use the names on here like that, but it's called Hannah, and that might be really relevant to you. But you've witnessed them going through a particularly difficult time, and you have been very understanding, and you have been very compassionate, even though I'm hearing it has at times hurt you. They've got a choice to make regarding their future. We've got the courthouse here, and this card is also called Choice and Judgment. And deep in your heart, you need to hold on to the faith, because, you know, I think deep down you know that everything is going to be okay. But there's some kind of justice. This could also be karma that still needs to occur. And with this is a number 5 energy. It's a transitional energy. So this is a block, is what I'm hearing. And they're still getting over, for some of you, this could be getting over divorce or the breakdown of a relationship, with the 5 of Cups and the 4 of Cups in reverse here coming up above the courthouse. I really feel like they are recovering from trauma, from grief, from disappointment, from regret. They have been very introverted and in this energy of solitude for quite some time, and they're kind of still coming to terms with everything. There are a lot of very divine cards in here, and I feel like this person is definitely aware that there's a very soulful connection between you. I'm picking up on a strong telepathic connection. And even though there's no cards to indicate this, I'm hearing this person dreams of a future with you, in particular a family, a baby. This may be of something you've spoken about, but a baby is coming through very strong. It may be that you already have one, or that you've discussed having one, but this person dreams about a future with you. They just don't know how to make it theirs. They don't know how to move towards that. They're still on this path of transformation, and they're not ready to make that journey with you yet. We've got the Chariot here in reverse, and it's clarified by the Journey card, which is the number 10 of completion. But with the Chariot being in reverse, I'm just hearing very strongly that they just don't know how to move forward. They're not ready to move forward with this, but they intuitively know that it's going to happen as to you. And they're saying, please be patient and trust in that, because, you know, our future is kind of, it's almost fated, and they've got this real strong sense of this as well. But they are going through this transformative period. They're completely enchanted by you. They perceive you as just being this really beautiful, quite magical energy, very angelic energy. They may describe you as like their earth angel, their guardian angel. They feel that you've just been so caring and so compassionate and so understanding in the way you've extended your love and care for them. They hold you in very high regard, and for some of them I feel that they're worried about somehow pushing you off your pedestal, like their presence in your life, their presence in your life could somehow be detrimental. It may be that there are cultural differences here, or a dramatic age gap, or just, you know, it could be that you're from a completely different class, a different, you know, that your families perhaps wouldn't necessarily accept one another, because we've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Empress in reverse, and I feel like this person sees you as a person of very high standing, but they're worried that their presence in your life could somehow be detrimental to you. They do love you. I mean, it says here very clearly, I can never say it, but I do love you, and I constantly feel you running through my veins. I live for your smile and would die for your kiss, and I'm electrified by you. So this person feels very deeply connected to you. And, you know, they're very much, the chemistry here is strong, but I'm hearing that this is perhaps their first experience of actually connecting energetically to someone in a way that is kind of otherworldly to them. They haven't expressed their feelings. And as I said, I feel like this person's coming out the other side of a significant trauma. It could be the breakdown of a relationship or something else, but there's been some kind of loss and grief here. Again, this has caused them to go inwards and perhaps detach from, you know, that which is external, because they just need to regroup. They need to bring themselves back into balance. I'm hearing for this person that this separation could be somewhat prolonged. And again, they're asking you to be patient and reassuring you they haven't given up on you, but this person has a lot of healing to do. These are very fractious energies that I'm picking up on. As I said, if this court case may not, because it's a number 5, this suggests it's still in motion. You know, that it hasn't quite come to pass yet. So they just want you to be patient. They're terribly worried about losing you. They're worried you're going to meet someone else. But on the same token, they know that they can't give you what you need and want now, because they need to learn to give it to themselves. You know, they need to find the peace within them before they're going to be able to open up to you, is what I'm hearing. We've got the goat as well, and it says, act from your innate wisdom. We've got the dog, be disciplined in your home and community life, and the snake, live according to your divine essence. And for me, this is about this. Well, there's a lot of, again, loyalty comes through. You know, their heart is loyal to you, and they just hope that you're loyal to them. They don't expect that of you. It's not even like they feel they deserve it, but this is their wish. You know, their wish that at some point, as they move through this transformation and this rebirth of self, that you know, that they can come back to you and you can be together. There's a need for them to expand their awareness, and they want you to know that they're studying, they're growing, you know, they're becoming something more. They know that there's problems within themselves that need to be resolved, shadow aspects, things that need to be purged. I feel like this relationship breakdown that they've been through has brought to light a lot of shadow aspects within themselves, you know, that they're now aware of, that they now recognise are not healthy behaviours in a relationship, and they don't want to bring that to your doorstep. You know, and I'm hearing, you know, you're thinking, but we can work through this together. But they feel very strongly that they need to do some kind of self-repair before they're going to be ready for a connection with you. They're very focused on that. I keep getting that Stevie Wonder song about building that castle of love, you know, that this person's busy beavering away and creating... you know, creating a new sense of self, not just for himself, but for you as well. You're like the driving force behind it all. They just want to be the best version of themselves possible for you. Yeah, so they're growing, they're expanding their consciousness and awareness, they're releasing a lot of anxiety, and I feel like this person's been crippled by anxiety previously, but they are so thankful. Again, the gratitude that comes through, and it's come through again here, I've already kind of pulled that message through, but they really are grateful for having met you. It feels like you've put them on a new trajectory. You know, they're starting to understand who they are as much as they are worshipping who you are, but they're very much focused on health, happiness and abundance, you know, in their own sphere of awareness, because they know this is what's going to help drive them forward. At the moment, they just don't feel worthy. You know, they feel limited in their opportunities, they feel limited in their self-beliefs, and they feel limited just in so many ways. There's a feeling of being trapped as well, but it's like this person's kind of seeing that chink of light at the end of the tunnel now, and they're dragging themselves towards it. You know, they've finally decided, I want to be happy. I didn't believe I could be, but I want to be, and I'm going to get there. So the strongest message coming through here is patience, and they're so sorry that they've not been able to express themselves to you. They don't know how to let go and just enjoy that expression, and so they just retreat. You know, they do love you. Oh, look, one of these has come up here. I'm going to keep it. Wait, again, that's about patience. It's not time yet. Things are being woven. So, you know, when they see you, their self-worth is triggered in quite a dramatic way. And so when these feelings kind of bubble up to the surface and they feel compelled to say something or express feelings, they just find themselves retreating back into their shell. They can't quite bring themselves to do it. There's a tremendous amount of fear here. This person probably needs to make a lot of sacrifices as well in order to move in the right direction. And they're reminding you that that's painful. So they have to say no now. They have to say no. You know, they're taking back control of their lives. And this requires like a single track focus. Become a clear channel. I feel like, especially with the High Priestess card coming up, this person, they're in awe of your psychic ability, but I feel like they are very aware of their own as well. They're beginning to trust in the divine plan, and they're beginning to think that perhaps, you know, they've got just as much light as you. This helps them feel rejuvenated and reborn. You've inspired them very much. They're really thinking about their own truth, and they know that they need to love themselves if they're ever going to move forward with this. They're trying to tune out distractions, but I'm hearing that's really difficult because at the moment their environment and their circumstances aren't the ideal foundation for them to kind of go through all of these transformative shifts. They're trying to embrace their power. I'm hearing there are delays. So we've got correct your mistakes here. You know, they know they've made mistakes. They're claiming them now, and they're trying to think of solutions so that they can move forward. They really want to speak up. It feels like they want to tell you how they feel. But again, you know, when they get into that kind of place, it just it gets squashed back down by their fear, and they don't know how to face that fear. They're not ready to do that. They don't want to admit their vulnerabilities. It's very hard for them. But I feel like you may have moved on recently, or kind of, you know, something has happened to give them a wake-up call, which has kind of put them on this upwards trajectory of like, I've got to get on this healing path. I've got to start fixing myself. I've got to start, you know, moving towards happiness. They've had this wake-up call and they're paying attention to it. The blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. So yeah, you know, they are definitely waking up to their spiritual truth as well. We've got Star Brothers, which is protection, loyalty, safety and trust. And we've got Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. So this person is emotionally invested in the spiritual aspects of this connection is what I'm hearing. You know, they're looking deeper. With this Star Ancestors card, they're looking deeper now. And I feel like they're particularly drawn to the kind of conspiracy theories surrounding the Egyptians as well. And kind of I wasn't going to use this deck, but it's kind of core to me for this reading. This is a Starseed Oracle, and I feel like they're particularly interested in kind of galactic stuff. We've got a star family. You're part of a team of support of souls, call in support, child of the cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. I feel like they love all this kind of stuff. They love this idea that, you know, they're from another star system. The void, stop, embrace winter, the great cosmic womb. So, I mean, overall, this person just needs you to know that they have retreated for a reason. They need to hold back for a reason. They haven't given up on you. They care about you very, very much. They feel very deeply connected to you on an energetic and astral level. And, you know, they miss you dearly. They have so much respect for you. They're absolutely enchanted by you. And they have this divine faith that you two have a future, but it's in the future. It can't be now. And even though they know, you know, this is hard for you, they really respect your loyalty, they respect your patience, they respect how devoted you've been. So I really hope that was helpful, Pile 1. I'm sending you lots of love and light. And if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so up until mid-February. I'm already booked up now until the end of January. There's a couple of weeks worth of slots left, and then I will be taking a break from personal reads for a while, just to give me a chance to regroup and kind of spend some time on self-care. So there aren't that many bookings left. If you'd like to make a booking with me, I'll go ahead and do that now. I probably will still be doing the one-to-one coaching, but I'm uncertain yet as to how I'm going to structure things, but I definitely need a really good break. So my diary's open till mid-February, and then it's going to remain closed until further notice. But you can find my bookings online at happysouls1111.com. You can also find me on Instagram at happysouls1111. Okay, thank you so much. Right. Part 2. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot. What does your person want to say to you? What do they want you to know? We have got Justice in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, Judgment in reverse. The Two of Swords, the Nine of Swords in reverse. Clarifying, we've got the Ten of Cups in reverse. We've got the Four of Cups in reverse. We've got the Star. We've got the Five of Pentacles. And 2 came out here, so we're going to keep them both. We've got the Devil and the Eight of Swords in reverse. I'm going to use some oracle cards as well. Toil and labour, despair, coffin. And don't panic. Doesn't mean anyone's dying. Okay, we don't do that kind of stuff in the tarot. It's about endings, like the Death card. It's not, you know, it's this end of a cycle, beginning of a new one. It's not death. So we've got coffin, wealthy man, and high honour. I'm also going to use the Elle Qui Oracle, gift from Antoinette. We have got She Who Remains, She Who Flies, and She Who Calms. Okay, these are very kind of intense energies. There's a lot of fear here as well. I mean, I'm literally getting full over body prickles as I look at these cards. I feel like this person is going through a horrendously difficult period. With the Justice card in reverse here, it feels like some kind of painful cycle hasn't quite yet reached its conclusion. Everything is out of balance, and the fact it's clarified by the Ten of Cups indicates to me that this is something to do with their home life. And we have got toil and labour here, which is a number 11 card, the same. Actually, Justice is number 8 in this deck, but it's often number 11. But, again, this is a fated number. This person's working very hard to bring things back into harmony and balance. I feel like they've had to let you go as a result, and there's a tremendous amount of pain here. There's so much shame. I feel like you have been powerfully devoted to them, and you've helped this person recognize their true worth, but they feel completely tied to this very painful situation. I feel in part this family situation is not necessarily toxic, and that actually makes it more difficult. I feel like they actually they care very deeply for this situation that they're trying to move away from, and that just triggers so much shame within them. It's such a hard thing for them to do, and I feel like that they're really trying to fly in the face of adversity and make a decision, but they feel powerless to do that at the moment. They haven't got the heart to do it, and it feels like no one can win because they're going to hurt someone whatever they choose, and this person has a big heart, and this is weighing very heavily on their heart. They're not really connected to their intuition, so they don't trust themselves at the moment either, which is why they're struggling to make a decision. They're very optimistic and hopeful about how things can be with you in the future, but they don't know how to bring it to fruition, is what I'm hearing. These are very similar energies to pile 1, slightly different. So if this is resonating for you, you might want to check out that pile as well. I just feel like this person, they just can't move forward. They're kind of constantly ruminating and cannot reach a decision. And for me, with this coffin card and the Judgment in reverse with that star in the middle, I feel like it's whichever way they look at it. If they're going to get their dream, if they're going to wake up and fly towards what they want, and there are a lot of birds up here, if they're going to fly to what they want, towards what they want, they're going to have to accept an ending. One cycle closing out and another beginning. It just feels like they're absolutely not ready for that. So again, we've got this indecision here with the Two of Swords, and we've got the Five of Pentacles, which is just this fear of leaving someone out in the cold, and again, it feels like they can't win. It's going to be you or the other person. It weighs very heavy on their heart. I feel like this person, especially with this toil and labour and wealthy man, when they're facing this kind of emotional challenge, they just throw themselves into their work. It's like it becomes all encompassing because that's where they find their respite and their peace. I'm hearing that in your presence, they just feel so calm. Like they see some kind of beautiful purity within you. You just calm them so much. And in having kind of pulled back from you, they're really feeling, it's such a fast-paced kind of rushing energy, just panicked and very, very anxious. But they want you to know that you really, the power of your love really has helped them to see their true worth. They're very angry about the timing of all of this. They spend a lot of time dwelling on, how awful the timing's been. It feels cruel. I feel like for some of you, and this may not be true of all of you because this is quite specific, but for some of you, this person might be involved in a relationship where the other person is unwell or very sick. And so, that guilt and shame surrounding leaving them when they're in this kind of condition, it just makes it feel impossible. I feel like as well this person feels like they need to release anxiety on their own. I feel like you've kind of been a catalyst for them identifying the areas of stress in their life and how badly they coped with stress. And they're starting to release addiction as well. I feel this person's been a bit of a mess for a while, and this is something that they credit you with. You know, they're so honoured that you've supported them in moving forward that way. And it's not that you've done the work for them, but you've inspired them to do that work. So I really feel like this person's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and what keeps them going is the idea of what could be. But as I said, they're not ready to, they don't dare reach for what they want at this time. There's too much guilt and shame keeping them stuck where they are. And really this speaks volumes about the kind of person they are, you know, that they're of high integrity. You know, they're not ruthless in any shape. They can't just run roughshod over this other person's feelings either. Now, it may not be illness, but there's something that's keeping them there that makes them feel like, you know, I just can't leave this person in this moment. There's something going on there that is warping their ability to make a decision. We've got you are the song of my heart. My whole body burns at the thought of you, and I constantly feel you running through my veins. Please give me more time. I'm not good enough for you yet. So again, I feel like this person sees you as such a calm, still, very peaceful person, and you know, they're aware that they are just this ball of rage and stress a lot of the time. And whilst they're getting a handle on that, I feel like this person may have had gambling addictions, or I mean, it could just be an addiction to work, but I'm getting that it may have involved finances. And they just feel like they're a mess inside and out. And even though they're being a bit kinder to themselves than they were perhaps before they met you, they just don't feel good enough. And, you know, this person's obviously successful in career, but that doesn't fulfill them. It doesn't make them feel accomplished. They don't see themselves as a really good person, but they see themselves, you know, through the lens of your devotion. It just helps them kind of tap into that light that kind of, I'm hearing it's a tiny flame, but you seem to have ignited this light within them, and they're finally starting to feel good about who they are rather than just their material accomplishments. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So again, I'm getting a lot of pain here around this idea that they just can't move right now. It's just not time for them to reach out or to create change. I feel like as well they've been trying to be quite playful and casual and friendly with you, trying to focus on the lighter side of this humour card come up, and this may have angered you somewhat or made you feel like they were being facetious or flippant somehow, and that it was kind of, you know, it's not what the situation warranted. So they're really very sorry. They're just trying to it says here, I'm a being of love and I release negative energy. It's the card of peace, and it feels like they were just afraid of conflict. You know, this person does suffer from anxiety. They may have had problems with their heart before, or kind of, you know, very physical symptoms related to anxiety and stress. So they're very mindful of trying to disengage from potential confrontation or conflict. This freedom card, you know, I feel like this person wants to be free to create their own happiness. But again, there's something, in fact, let's pull a clarifier. What is it that's actually keeping them stuck? I'm going to use the Kipper cards. What is it that's keeping them stuck? What's the reason they can't make a decision? We've got sudden wealth, occupation, and courthouse. So we've got work, wealthy man, sudden wealth. So it could very well be that this person works in a family business, and it could be their partner's family business, something like that. So, you know, it's very possible that there could be some kind of legal wrangle, or that their financial stability would be dramatically affected if they were to part company with this person. But there's unresolved karma there anyway. They want to be free from it. They want to be free to create their own happiness. But, you know, the stars just aren't aligning for them to make that happen at the moment. and they feel like a failure. You know, I feel like this person, they do feel trapped. They just feel like they've let you down massively. But as I said, there's this energy of no matter what they do, no matter which decision they make, it feels like they're going to have to let someone down. And this eats them alive from the inside. They are learning to release anxiety. Again, this is something you've inspired them to do. They want to expand their consciousness and awareness. I feel like you've shared a lot about mindfulness and meditation with them, and they've really taken these practices on board and to heart. They respect your friendship above all else. Again, your powerful devotion and just your constancy has really helped them identify their self-worth and bring them this kind of stillness within them that they'd not found before. And even though there's a very passionate romantic energy between you, I think above all else, this person really sees you as their best friend. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. And I feel like this is why things are out of balance, because they are judging themselves very harshly. They fear being judged very harshly. We've got blame there. You know, they're taking a lot of responsibility on their shoulders here, rather than perhaps just acknowledging that they're not happy in a relationship. It's not a crime, but they're really putting a tremendous amount of pressure on themselves. There's a lot of shame here. So this person, you know, is staying back for a reason. You know, these are quite sad energies. I do feel someone that is literally completely traumatized by the procrastinating over this same thing and seemingly going nowhere or not coming up with any answers or solutions. Be ready to transform with wisdom. We've got the butterfly, the elephant and the sheep. So for sheep, it feels like, you know, they have to cooperate with this work situation. There's definitely some kind of karmic trap. It's a karmic trap related to their wealth and occupation, and they're having to kind of follow the herd and be the sheep, and they hate themselves a little bit for that, is what I'm hearing. They kind of wish they were bolder and braver to kind of step out on their own. You know, with this elephant card as well, I feel like once they're true to themselves, they will actually open themselves to true abundance. But this is part of the transformation and wisdom that they need to integrate and learn. I feel like they're projecting their wealth, honour and all of their successes onto this dynamic that they're involved in, not understanding that, you know, they've brought something unique to that equation which has made it successful, and that they can replicate that for themselves when they embrace their own freedom. So this person's definitely learning some important lessons. You know, they're not quite ready to shine their light or to let go. You know, they're asking you to be patient. They're trying to accept that, you know, what is dying. And I think with that coffin card coming out, you know, that's really poignant. You know, with the coffin, of course, you have to think this is, you know, we see the coffin after the death, and it is all about acceptance, isn't it? The coffin, there's an element of finality about it, and watching it going into the ground, you know, so it feels like this ending is unfolding and they're trying to come to terms with it. I feel like, ask with sincerity, is this person, you know, that they want to be sincere with you, and at the moment they're not able to do that. They're not able to reach out. There's some sacrifices that need to be made first. Again, this is why they're retreating, and they're grieving. There may have been a death with this coffin. It might be that's why it's not a good time to leave. Maybe someone within the family passed away and everyone's grieving, and it's not a good time for them to move on because they feel, you know, obligated and compelled to support everyone. But, you know, this person does try and laugh in the face of adversity. They try and keep the faith and go with the flow. But again, they've got very high stress energy levels, is what I'm hearing. They're asking you to just take the lead and focus on your own healing. You know, working at your own, it says here, become a clear channel. So it seems like perhaps you're on the psychic path or a path towards mediumship. Accept disappointments gracefully. This is something I feel like you have done to a degree, and they're very respectful and grateful of how dignified you've been. They are going to speak up at some point. They want you to know that they think about doing that. They're always counting their blessings for how you've helped them face their shadow aspects and start releasing some of these anxieties and addictions. They feel completely rejuvenated with this, and they are reevaluating how they can move forward. But this person's stuck. They're thinking it through, and I feel like they think of nothing else. In the meantime, they just want you to be happy. They want you to live your life to the fullest. They don't want to hold you back. They feel like this kind of air of devotion about you is not fair to you, because they just don't see an end in sight of how they can release themselves at this stage. It does say here it's happening. Keep holding the vision. The golden children. God, my fingers are freezing today. And empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. So I feel like this person picks up on your energy quite frequently. They're very empathic. You're very empathic. The peculiar nature of this connection really fascinates this person. I don't believe they're very awake or spiritually aware or connected to their intuition, but they still understand that there's something very deep and meaningful about your connection. For some of you, children could be, I don't want to say an issue because that's a terrible way to describe children, but it could be also something that's presented some kind of challenge within your connection. But, this person has faith. I feel like they're just as frustrated as you are, but they really are asking you to understand that they really are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They're asking you to consider, that they're treating this person how you would wish to be treated, with respect and dignity, and that now is just not the time to drop this bomb of I'm leaving on them for whatever reason. There's definitely some financial constraints here again. For some of you, this might be a family business, or the fact that this person stands to lose a lot of money in court if he proceeds with some kind, formally breaking down this relationship. So he's just not ready. I really hope that helps, and I'm sorry it's not better news, but they do care about you very much. Just a crossroads in their life. It's very painful for concern by the sounds of it. If you would like to book a private reading with me, part 2, I am closing personal reads from mid-February. There are a few bookings still left. Thereafter, I won't be doing personal reads for a while. I'm just going to be focusing on my own development and growth and, teaching, creating more free content. I just need a bit of time out from that. But presently, you can still book at happysouls1111.com, but that's selling out fast. So dive in there if you want a booking now. Okay. This is the embroidered forest tarot. I'm not going to work with reversals on this deck because the backs aren't reversible. So if they come out reverse, I'm going to turn them upright. And we're getting channeled messages from your person. What do they want you to know? Well, these have all fallen out, so I'm going to keep them. We have got the Ace of Wands. We've got Justice. We've got the 5 of Pentacles. We have got the Emperor and the Sun. These are beautiful cards. What does this person want to say to you? We've got the Queen of Cups, the Magician, Temperance, the 7 of Swords, and the 2 of Wands. We get some oracle cards out as well. We've got Courthouse, High Honour, Mature Woman, Toil and Labour, and a Family Room. And from the Elle Qui Oracle, we've got She Who Guides, She Who Becomes, She Who Battles. And from the White Rose Guidance Divine Love Messages deck, we have got, I worship your perfection. I'm bleeding, but you can't see my blood. I can never say it, but I do love you. And I've tried telling you the truth so many times, but I cannot for some reason. I mean, this person definitely hasn't been honest with you. Obviously, we've got this I've tried telling you the truth card, and we've got the Seven of Swords here. Honestly, I don't think it's anything as bad as you might think. It feels like when you first met this person, they weren't entirely honest about who they are. And this could be that, you know, it was really silly, egoic kind of porkies, as we say in England, we're saying about lies. You know, he may have tried to make himself sound much more successful than he is, or, you know, given the impression that he is more accomplished than he is. We've got this toil and labour card that clarifies it, and the Emperor up here. So I feel like he's presented at the very least someone who's very controlled, you know, very stable, very balanced. But I feel like the truth of the matter is, you know, he's probably not as together as he has given you the impression of. This person definitely feels very passionate for you. The Ace of Wands for me is a very, very passionate card. There's just such a lot of joyful energy in this as well. And, I mean, this is unconditional love. You know, I feel like this person is very, very much in love with you. But they're also in a lot of pain. I feel like meeting you has guided them on this new path, but the new path, you know, has presented them with some fierce karma to resolve, which has really tested their commitment, not just to you, but to life and everything they once knew. We've got the Justice card up here, and then this She Who Battles card. I feel like this person with the Magician is kind of, there's been some kind of conflict here, is what I'm feeling. That they're kind of, it's helping them take back their power, but it's left them feeling temporarily left out in the cold as they go through this very transitional period. And it could be, we've got mature women here, and I'm hearing for a lot of them this is mother issues. So problems with, I mean, you know, it's definitely an older woman, but this feels like a mother figure. I feel like this person's kind of learning to stand on their own 2 feet and command their own happiness and make their own decisions. This person feels kind of, I don't think they've acknowledged how destructive or detrimental their upbringing and the kind of relationships with their parents, particularly the mother figure, was. And so they're just kind of going through this transformative period that you've unwittingly guided them towards. They're becoming something more, they're transcending all of this energy, but it's painful. It's created a lot of conflict. Again, this feels like fierce and brutal justice, and that their commitment to everything they once knew is being really, really tested. But this person just wants to be happy with you. You know, that comes through really strong, that they just, even though they feel vulnerable and they hide from you as a result because of the intensity of it so strong, they really do feel a beautiful, joyful connection with you, but they're not good at being vulnerable. This is why they can't say it, you know, that they've not felt this vulnerable before. They don't like this feeling of, you know, being so intensely drawn to someone that it makes them, you know, it triggers their fear of loss, their fear of stability, their fear of rejection. But I do feel like this person has had to push against the natural grain in order to kind of make a stand for themselves. There's definitely some kind of challenge and conflict here that they are facing. So it feels like, they're perhaps nervous about telling you the truth as well. They're worried about how this is going to potentially change your perspective of who they are. And I think really in the grand scheme of things, you're probably going to find it somewhat insignificant, but it isn't to them. So there's definitely a lot of ego behind this. For some of you, I'm guessing that quite literally this person could be involved in law or an actual lawyer, or they could be someone that kind of works in the field of law, perhaps on the wrong side of the fence. They could be in trouble with the law, but either way, they are challenged right now, and I feel like they've disappointed their parents, and they're learning to let go of that conditioning that tells them they have to meet their parents' approval, which of course is not the case. So this feels like big growing up energy for this person as well. We've got doubt and change here, and I feel, and worry. So these are very fractious energies. This person, they're afraid of that change. I feel like it brings them a lot of anxiety, and they often doubt their ability and skill to kind of move through it. But with the Magician card here, clarifying that justice, it does feel like they're facing it head on, that they're not shying away from it or being a wallflower. They kind of take it, look, we've got adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. So, as I said, you've kind of unwittingly guided them towards this new path. And they really are taking these shifts and changes quite seriously. They're not stepping back from them. We've got abundance. I feel like this person places a lot of importance surrounding impressing you, and this is why they feel so stuck and worried about coming forward and really sharing the whole truth about them. They don't want you to see them as weak, or this mummy's boy, or this someone that's pushed around by his parents, even though that appears to be the reality. We've got judgment and envy. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. I'm the same as everybody else, but with different challenges. So I feel like judgment and envy is a lot of the adversity he faces, to be honest with you. It feels like this person has very harsh judgments within the family, from his parents, and possibly from his siblings as well. But, people throw rocks at things that shine. And, whilst it's sad and you can't change people, and you can't change certainly the past, it's something we have to let go of. He does regret a lot that he's kind of allowed it to go on for so long. I feel like he's been in denial for a long time, but that's now been replaced with awareness. And he's learning to trust himself. He's learning not to bow down. He's learning that, he's allowed to bring things to an end. He doesn't need anyone's permission to create an ending that's going to support his own happiness. So we've got surrender, releasing control, and I feel like this person was never really in control, and he's coming to terms with that. But again, this creates this distraction here of, I don't think he's really given you the full truth, and it's made it really difficult for him to come forward. I feel like he's very much someone who gets lost in physical activity, quite an outdoorsy person. I feel like he loves how much you make him laugh. I feel like no one brings him this kind of lightness and this effervescence that you seem to inject into the air around you every time he's in your presence. And he loves you. He loves you very, very much. I don't think that's something he's truly felt before. And it feels like he's very, very moved by it. He's awe-inspired as well by your light. I feel like he really sees you as someone quite beautiful and quite magical and special. You've taught him how to live in the present. You've taught him how to embrace joy. He just wishes he was truly abundant enough to be good enough. So there's definitely self-worth issues for here. But he is being strong, and he wants you to know that he's, he wants to kind of seize the day and come forward. But he just feels really stuck by his fear of loss at the moment, because he's not the person he told you he was, you know, and he doesn't know how to be different. I feel like he's told some really silly lies. He's embarrassed above all else because he knows you're going to find out. But, you know, for a grown-ass man, this is kind of... And I feel like it's his job. I feel like he does something different from what he said, but he does something that he loves. And in reality, I think you'd be perfectly open to it, even though you'd be a bit perturbed that he's, you know, perhaps not been honest. But he's afraid to admit this to you. You know, he lied because he doesn't love himself, because he's not got self-worth. And he was afraid that you would judge him, even though, of course, you probably wouldn't. So I really think this guy's bigged himself up somewhat. And... you know, he's worried that you won't stick around, you know, if he's true to you about who he is. So there's definitely something he's not shared with you that still needs to be illuminated. I feel like he may have, you know, suggested he was in a more caring role as well than he perhaps is, or kind of bigged himself up in this, you know, in terms of being of service to people. But this is what's made him pull back for you. It's the fear of being found out, the fear of his silly, petty lies being uncovered. And, you know, that's just been a distraction to everything. And in general, how he feels about you. He doesn't really know how to move past that, or how to actually broach the subject of, I've told some really silly lies. So it may help to kind of figure this out. Whatever it is, you know, whether it's work, whether it's something else, he's not been honest. He's not got good boundaries. I feel like this person's been bossed and bullied and kind of told what to do most of his life by his parents. We've got inner child wounds here. And, you know, you're a breath of fresh air to him. I feel like you've shown him a new way to be. You know, he wants to surrender to your sweetness and make love to you in life. This is Venus energy. It's beautiful. And he's so devoted to you. I feel like, you know, you make his life like a moving poem or prayer. You just, you know, the energy between you is so potent and so strong, and he really appreciates it. So, you know, it may help to kind of broach this somehow with this guy. It feels like the reasons for him stepping away and running are fairly insignificant in the grand scheme of things, especially if this person's your twin. You know, of course, you're not going to hold it against him that he painted this picture of success or something else just to try and impress you. It could be that he's much younger than you as well. And, you know, so there was that added layer of pressure to try and, you know, impress you. And we've got the mature woman there, so it could be that this, you know, rather than this representing a parent, it's representative of his fears and desire to impress you. So I really hope that was helpful, Path 3. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, please be reminded that they are going to close soon. At the moment, you can go to my website and book at happysouls1111.com. I've got appointments open till mid-February. I think I'm already fully booked for most of January, but thereafter I will not be offering personal readings for a while. So if you would like to get a personal reading with me or any one-to-one coaching, a twin flame connection check, book now, because I'm going to have a bit of a break just to focus on me, to regroup, all that jazz. Okay, lovely to see you. Thank you. Part 4. Let's do this. What are the messages from your person? What does your person want you to know? What do they want to say to you? This is the Hide Tarot by Dan Francis. His Kickstarter campaign is now over and he's sending the decks out, but you can buy one directly from him, and the link is in the description box below. They're absolutely beautiful. I do love these cards. Dan is a friend of my daughter's. He's a friend of mine as well, but I know him through my daughter, and she is actually immortalised, as well as some of their other friends. She's immortalised in these cards, so it's very cool. Right, let's see what your person wants to say. What does your person want to say? We've got the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. We've got the 7 of Wands in reverse. We've got the Page of Cups in reverse, the 2 of Swords in reverse. And the 2 of Wands in reverse. Wow, a lot of 2s in reverse. Clarifying, we've got the Knight of Cups. We've got the 6 of Cups in reverse. We've got the King of Wands. We've got the Eight of Cups and we've got the Nine of Cups. So we're going to get some oracle cards as well to clarify everything. We've got wealthy man. We've got distant horizons. We've got mature woman. We've got main man and false person. And from the Elle Qui Oracle, we have got she who questions, she who frees, and she who waits. And from the White Rose guidance cards, this is the Divine Love Messages deck. You can find a link to these in the description box. We have got, don't think I don't care about you because I really do. I'm terrified of you. I would just hurt you more right now. I need to be alone. And your beauty cascades over me. So this person is very afraid. I mean, with so many reversed energies across the top here, in particular, we've got 3 reversed 2s. You know, this person is not ready for a committed relationship. I feel this is something they are very fearful and resistant of. They are not good at letting their guard down. So they hide behind this very charming, flirty demeanour, but never really allow things to move to the next level with you. There just feels like an energy of, this is like an avoidant energy. This is someone that's not ready for commitment. They're not ready to be real and honest. They don't have the confidence or they don't have the confidence to do that. They don't. I feel like they just question everything about life. This person is at a transit point in their life. They are definitely on a journey. And I'm picking up this person could be a musician. So they might be very career focused. Bear with me because someone's at my door. I beg your pardon. Bloody hell, parking fine. Oh man, last thing we need. Okay, right, I apologise. So I feel like this person is kind of, these are very immature energies. So there may or may not be an age gap, but certainly the energies here just feel young. This is someone that doesn't know themselves. They're not connected with the truth of who they are. Obviously this mature woman card coming up and this I'm terrified of you kind of energy makes me feel that, you know, there could be an age gap and they're very intimidated by that. I'm feeling on the one hand this person saying, you know, you make me feel like a king. But on the other hand, they're not ready for commitment. This person has dreams and wishes that did not include this kind of relationship. It could be that they needed to travel because of their work. You know, they wanted to see the world. This is about unrestrained freedom. Even this card, See Who Frees. This card's called Kali, by the way. I felt really guided to use that name. But this person, you know, doesn't feel like they can be this stable, committed person in a relationship right now. They've got a lot of unresolved dreams and the stuff that they need to learn about themselves. They haven't grown up, to put it quite bluntly. There's a very Peter Pan-y type energy about this of, you know, I've got so much to do, so much to see, so many places to be, and yet there's this there's this very passionate kind of undercurrent of it's a magnetic pull that they feel for you. You know, there's this. They're very curious about the nature of the connection, and how kind of just intense that feels. So I feel like this person, I mean, with all these twos, you know, they are terribly indecisive. You know, I feel like they just, whilst they don't want to change and make a decision, neither can they let go. So this person could be bouncing in and out of your life, very frustrating energy for you, but they just don't seem to be able to let go. And again, this Two of Wands is called the cocoon. It feels like something's still brewing. You know, there's some cycle that they've not completed that they feel a very strong pull to. And you've been very patient. They're very grateful for how determined and patient you've been. It's like, I'm really drawn to how, this is called the She Who Waits card. And you can see here, she's holding this beautiful butterfly of light. This is like transformation through light. And I feel like you've presented so much wisdom and so much learning to this person, but they don't feel like they're ready to be true to one person. There's so much that needs to be unresolved. They've got a fortune to make. I do feel a lot of this is about some kind of dream or ambition they're pursuing. And again, the musician comes through really strong. So they're on this kind of journey of achievement somehow. They're trying to get somewhere with their career. And so they're not always true. You know, as I said, they're wearing a mask, and I feel like you keep your guard up as well, because you're kind of aware of this, but there's this deep, unspoken, very passionate desire and love between you. But, you know, you're saying, I would just hurt you more right now. I need to be alone. But this person finds you very beautiful. They care about you very deeply, but they're also terrified of the intensity of the energies between you. And that they need to stay on course right now. They need to focus on their own growth, is what I'm hearing. Right, let's have a look. We've got pig, raven, guinea pig. Yeah, so they really are on their own journey, and they're asking you to focus on your own self-worth and self-esteem, and to work on your own change, because, you know, their higher self is highlighting how you've both got a part in bringing universal clarity and change. You know, and they're focused on their part, and you need to be focused on yours. So even though it feels like, you know, frustrating, and I'm feeling that you're feeling, you know, pretty rejected and sad about the way things have gone, there's also this kind of energy of, this is just how it's meant to be right now. This is a gift to both of us. And just remember, you know, if this person is your twin flame, they're going to come back. They're going to come back. But, you know, we've got this she who frees. You need to, it's that old saying, you know, if you love them, let them go. And if they're meant for you, they'll return. And I think this person will. You know, I feel like he's growing. He's expanding his own understanding of himself, relationships, the world. He worries so much about leaving. I feel like he gets very jealous that there could be someone else in your life. It could be that you're actually married, or you're in a relationship yourself, and you know that's a challenge between both of you. He doesn't want you to harbour resentment. You know, he just wants things to be peaceful. You know, he knows that he needs to follow his own ambition for success. You know, he's not yet learned that there isn't a bigger goal than love. But this is something he needs to do for himself. You know, he feels a lot of grief in letting this go. I don't want you to think he takes it lightly. You know, he's very much pained by it. But he's not ready for relationships. He just isn't. You know, he's afraid he wouldn't be able to do it right. Right now he needs his freedom. You need to let him go. You need to let him go and allow him to come back in his own time, and look at that patience. Everything happens in divine order. So it definitely feels like, if not an age gap here, there's kind of, you know, there's just a lot that this person hasn't done with his life that he's still trying to achieve. And again, I really feel like for many of you there is an age gap, but you might also be married or have someone on the scene yourself, you know, which is another kind of obstacle. You need the time to take the lead and resolve your own karma. I feel like he never stops thinking about you. You know, he feels like he's kind of found some treasure in you. He's constantly reevaluating what he should or shouldn't do. And as I said, it feels like just tremendous indecision. He knows he wants to go, but he can't let go. And it's that magnetic pull. I mean, he's saying no, but this is just about him, you know, strengthening himself. I feel like his heart will always be committed to you, but he needs to let go and move in the direction of, there's definitely travel for this person, but he kind of has faith that at some point, you know, there's going to be this opportunity for you to come together. We've got express your joy, wake up call, be true to yourself. And this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to be true to himself. I feel like he's waited a long time for some kind of break or for some kind of movement in his career or these projects or something that's finally pulling him in the right direction. And then he's met you and he's kind of like, oh my God, really? This is such awful timing. He's trying to think of solutions, and I feel like he will keep in touch with you, but he, you know, he can't have something serious with you because he needs to be focused on his success. He's addicted to that idea. He's addicted to it. And, you know, even though he's disappointed, he's looking forward. He knows he's got to move forward with this. He can't just leave it behind. He's building something for the future. I do think this person's going to be very wealthy. You know, they're going to be very successful. And again, he's saying, you know, in order for us to come together, both of us need to release shadows and heal. We've both got work to do. This is for our highest good, even though it feels painful now. It's for our highest good. I can't be my real self now, is what I'm hearing. I need to learn about who I really am. I need to bring my consciousness into the light. I have to follow my intuition and take action in the direction that feels right, you know, and moving towards my career feels right. Share your song. This is someone that's definitely musical. Frequency of sound, diving deep. He writes you into every song. Right. Pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. So, you know, this is a beautiful way in which you two can really reconnect. Through nature, through your love of nature, through your love of the outdoors. It's not over. You're going to have a powerful connection with this person always, and they're going to find their way back to you. But you've got to trust that this time apart is really important. So I'm sending you lots of love, powerful. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.